When I became a full-time potter in 1970, my interest in antique pottery and porcelain was initiated by an antique dealer friend in Sydney, George Orkinicki. I began to collect mainly English pieces. It included such pieces as this quail pattern teapot, the Queen Charlotte Hall pattern slop bowl, a hop vine and trellis pattern cup and saucer, a blue scale dessert plate, and this blue and white decorated sauce boat. They were all Dr. Wall Worcester porcelains dated before 1783. The prices shown in black are what I paid for them, and the ones in green are the prices realised after selling. And I did sell almost the whole collection to finance the purchase of my property at Talgum in 1981. And over the last 5 years, I got the bug again to collect Worcester porcelain. And here it is. This is the earliest piece in the collection, dated about 1755, a small tea bowl with the transfer printed underglazed blue decoration and marked with a rarer W or the Wigornia mark. This larger blue and white tea bowl has a crabapple pattern transfer print. It has no mark, but a distinct feature for recognising Worcester is that the glaze has been scraped from the inside of the foot rim to prevent thick pooling of the glaze here. This much larger slop bowl bears the Robert Hancock transfer print called Birds in Branches and Other Birds. It is dated about 1775 and is clearly marked with the Worcester underglaze blue crescent mark. Inside the bowl is another transfer print of a single bird on a branch. I love this large moulded cabbage leaf pattern mask jug from about 1775. Once again, it has several different transfer prints in cobalt blue under the glaze, and this section here shows that the glaze has run a bit. It is unmarked. This delightful trio of tea bowl, saucer and coffee cup has a very simple pattern applied in underglaze blue before the first firing and then enhanced by gilding with a gilded decoration around the rims. And the interiors are similarly decorated. This saucer from about 1765 is beautifully hand-painted in a monochrome carmine enamel, and the panes are outlined with honey gilding. Gold powder was mixed with honey and applied to the glaze, then fired to about 550 degrees to fix it. The decoration on this small plate is called dry blue. The enamel is a mix of cobalt and tin oxide to give this dry appearance. Honey gold is also applied to the decoration and to the fluted rim. The Worcester Pottery made many teapots, which were popular because of the soapstone body of the porcelain, which prevented the teapot from cracking when boiling water was added. This 1765 teapot has the typical floral knop on the lid and is expertly hand-painted in Meissen-style floral decorations. Here is a small coffee cup decorated in the Queen Charlotte Hall pattern, named after Queen Charlotte, who was the wife of George III. It is clearly marked with another Worcester mark known as the Chinese square mark. And royalty also had something to do with the pattern on this cup and saucer. When King George III and Queen Charlotte visited the Worcester factory in 1788, he ordered a service in the pattern which was dubbed the Royal Lily pattern. The pattern is meticulously hand-painted. This saucer has an additional decoration on the reverse, and both pieces have a gilded internal decoration. They also bear the clear crescent mark of the Worcester factory. The cleaning of the foot rim that I mentioned before is also very obvious on this cup. And last but not least is this tea bowl, probably later in the 1780s. It is moulded in the spiral fluted design with a simple but attractive cobalt blue and gilded interior border motif. It is unmarked. I was delighted to finally receive this coffee can and saucer yesterday, which I bought on eBay back in December. As a result of the COVID hold-ups, it took 2 months to get here. It was advertised as Georgian, but after much examination and a bit of research on the internet, I think I can safely say that it is a piece of late 18th century Derby porcelain. It has all the hallmarks of Derby from that period. The expertly executed decoration consists of underglazed blue on the alternate panels. These were painted on before the piece was fired for the first time. Then the delicate enamelling was done onto the lead glaze after the glaze firing. Finally, the gilding in honey gold would have been the last process and was fired again at a low temperature of about 550 degrees. I started my research at Derby porcelain, and it wasn't long before I came across these two coffee cans and saucers of the same shape with the 16 small side panels and the identical handle. My piece is not marked, so you would always have to be a bit cautious when you try to decide the origin of your piece. And not all porcelains of that time were marked, but had it been marked, the mark would have looked like this: a crown over a cross and the letter D, usually in red. It is a Dr. Wall period scale blue dessert plate, circa 1765. It has a fluted edge. The reserves are exquisitely enamelled with Meissen-style flowers. The gilding is in good condition considering its 250 years of age. It has a Worcester square mark in underglazed blue on the reverse, and the often mentioned evidence of clearing the glaze from the inside of the foot rim. I am most satisfied. I have 3 pieces of tin glazed earthenware. This plate is English steltware from the Lambeth Pottery. This one comes from the Bristol Works. They are decorated in cobalt blue on a white tin glaze and dated about 1750. This plate is French, about 1810, and was made at the Nevers Pottery in central France. This bone china cup and saucer bears the mark of the Thomas Allen and Spencer Green manufacture at the Minerva Works in Fenton, Staffordshire. Here is a Stoneware Sardine Box, evident by the fish finial. It's about 1885, possibly Mason's. It is decorated in underglazed blue with an overglazed transfer iron decoration. This delightful and beautifully decorated plate is an English copy of Chinese porcelain by Copeland Spode around about 1830. From the same factory, but later, in about 1880, is this plate, beautifully decorated with its fluted edge and fine gilding. Hello again. I came across this lovely sparrowbeak jug a little while ago, and I just had to have it, of course. It is described as a Booth's scale blue Worcester style sparrowbeak jug. On further investigation, I discovered that the Booth's china factory in England made quite a lot of this china, as they call it, between about 1910 and 1920. The body is described as silicon china, which is another name for a non-porcelaneous stoneware. And on close examination, you will find that the glaze is crazed, and also the decoration, which is very, very beautifully done, is done in transfer prints, the enamelling, as well as the gold, which in this case is mercurial gold. It has all been applied by transfer prints. Anyway, I'm quite delighted to possess this jug, as it is quite a contrast to the recent scale blue Worcester plate that I purchased. It is unmarked and the handle has been repaired, but that doesn't concern me. This delightful trio is a Spode stone china cup, saucer and plate circa 1815 to 1830. The shape of the cup is described as boot, which means a curved side with a flared top. The design is known as the tobacco leaf pattern number 2061. The decoration is hand-painted with 2 shades of cobalt blue applied on the biscuit before the glazing, and the rest of the design expertly hand-painted in shades of iron red, pink and green, and delicately gilded as the final process. All 3 pieces are marked with a blue transfer printed back stamp, but the mark on the plate is later than that of the cup and saucer. They have the underglazed blue Spode stone china mark, the pattern number 2061, and this would be the painter's mark. On the saucer, it is clearly marked 2061. The back of the plate has this underglazed blue mark, Copeland and Garrett, late Spode. In 1833, William Copeland acquired the business in partnership with Thomas Garrett until 1847, and the factory's productions from this period were marked Copeland and Garrett, and this pattern, the tobacco leaf pattern, was continued. There is also an impressed mark, which is rather difficult to see, but it says Spode's New Stone, and that is the pattern number 2061 there. The description stone china would suggest a stoneware body, but it is in fact bone china, invented by Spode about 1800. This can easily be seen at the bottom of the cup, but the other 2 pieces are too thickly potted to be translucent. It is not apparent in this photography, but the glaze on the earlier cup and saucer is noticeably blued as a result of a very small amount of cobalt oxide being added to the glaze. And finally is this charming Royal Copenhagen figurine fawn with a goat, which is dated 1895.